Hello YouTube. Sorry if I'm going to be talking quietly just because I don't want my neighbor next door hearing my conversation because it's none of his business. So I hope you guys can hear me okay. So as you guys can see, there's my greenhouse on my balcony. At the moment, nothing's in it. Doesn't mean though I did some planting today. So I will be moving around a little here. Sorry about that, everybody. So what have I planted? Well, this planter box here, start off with, I can guarantee you I planted stuff incorrectly. Like how much I planted in it, how far apart, stuff like that. But hey, if it's a fail, it's a fail. If it's a hit, it's a hit. So this one here, I planted, I believe it was 6 or 8 cucumber seeds. Now I am going to get a trellis for it, or maybe some stakes with rope, string, whatever, to have it so I can trellis the plants if they grow. So then I got a box over there, which is the same style box as this one that I showed you already. In that one there is 6 or 8, I think it's 8 sunflower seeds. I'm really excited about those. Then in that pink Rubbermaid container there, I'm trying to get it so you guys don't have a glare. In the pink Rubbermaid container is just my excess dirt. My husband bought me 3 bags last year and finally getting to use it, and I knew that was where I wanted to store it, so it doesn't get all wet and wrecked. Then on top of it, there's 2 planter boxes. I'm going to talk about the one in behind first. It's green. I don't know how well you can tell it's green. But in the green one, half of it I put chives. I don't know how many seeds. I just put a bunch in and I sprinkled them in. And then I did kale. Now the kale, I probably did overstuff it. And I know chives, they're more or less like the green toppers of green onions. So you can use them, to add to your soups, your salads, your stews, your chilies, your pasta kind of thing. You just snip off a bunch when you need it. Kale, I've never used before in my life. We'll have to see how it comes out. Now the one in the front is completely just regular red radishes. Now all my seeds except for one, which I will be showing you in a minute, I won them all back in 2018, 2019, possibly 2020 from Johnny. For those of you who have been in, like back then, into Hoosiers Bingo, you would have met Johnny from there. That's how I met him. But I won like 4 or 5 different times off his channel. Like the looms I was using there a little while back, I won from him, and he sent seeds with it. And then I won a book from him that's like, for home remedies and like different superfoods kind of thing. And he sent seeds, and then I won just seeds individually 2 or 3 other times. So, but going back to the radishes, like so that one's just regular red radishes. Then I won these ones from Johnny. Now, when you look at them before they're sliced, they remind me like a smooth, I can't pronounce it, cabarari or something like that. But they're radishes, and here they are. So they're a watermelon radish. So they're white on the outside, red on the inside, and they get to be about the size of, I think it was like a baseball or a softball when I looked them up. So I do plan on planting, I'm thinking 3 of these, just 3 seeds. Now I do want to get some of the 5-gallon white buckets to plant them in, so you can kind of plant them like a triangle area. And then my husband and I, we were in Canadian Tire one day, and I went to the garden section just to look, wasn't going for anything in particular. And as I'm in the garden section, we passed the seed rack, and I found these radishes. And they kind of remind me of parsnips, other than they're smooth. But they look like about the size of parsnips. I've never had them before either. Now, again, I wanted to do a white bucket for them and plant maybe 3 seeds, 3 or 6, something like that. I Don't know how many yet. I haven't really decided. And see if it's hit or miss. Now for the greenhouse behind me that I just showed you guys, over the next couple days I've got like tons of cleaned out water, butter container or margarine containers, whatever, butter containers. I've got a yogurt container that I washed out one day and held on to. I've got an ice cream container. So I've got a bunch of different containers I held on to because I knew when I started my garden, I'd do the seeds and then from there plant them into, hopefully, like I said, the 5-gallon buckets. Now I'm only going to be planting in the greenhouse 2 tomato plants, seeds, and hopefully they'll come up. Like, we're not a big tomato eating family. But to have them just to add to my, my pasta and stuff, I love that idea. And my husband likes to do the tomatoes and slice them for his sandwiches and stuff. Now these are just regular tomatoes, so I don't know how well they really work in pasta, but they work in salads. So if I'm doing like a green garden salad, I can chop up tomatoes that way. And then I'm thinking of doing probably 4 containers of green bell peppers. One of the grocery stores that my husband and I mainly shop in here in the city and out by the camper is Food Basics. And a lot of times when we're there, I'll check the produce section for the discount rack. And there's a lot of times I can get a bag of 4 peppers. There's usually 2 red, a yellow, and an orange bell pepper. And for the 4 of them, $2, 50 cents a pepper. Normally you're spending $1.60 to $1.80 per pepper if you buy them like super fresh. Now you'll get ones that will have a little softness in a spot. I did one time when I sliced the pepper open in half. The inside, the seed section was very rotted and black, and I just threw the whole pepper out. I put the knife in the sink, got a different knife out, washed the cutting board, the whole 9 yards, just so that the other peppers I weren't gonna wreck by using, everything from what I just cut open. But I love when I get peppers like that, because I'll use some right away, and I'll make pasta that night purposely so I can use some of the peppers. But then I can also chop up some, like dice some up for soups, stews, pasta at a later date, chilies, salads, things like that. And then I'll take usually about 1/3 of the peppers and I'll slice them so that I can add them to stir fry. So with the green peppers, like this year I'm going as the green ones, I can do the same thing, like come later in the year. Hopefully I'll have plenty of peppers. Again, it's going to be hit and miss for me, but hopefully I'll have where I can, chop up a bunch and, freeze them for later dates. So that's what I've got so far, just 5 things planted right now. Again, like I said, the cucumbers, the sunflowers, I may have too many. I think the cucumbers, I may have too many in the pot together, but it's a hit and miss. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, hey, the way I look at it is, if I get one plant where I can get one produce off of it, considering I only paid for one of these packs of seeds, everything else was the winnings, that's a profit in my books. Even if it's the seed that we bought, it's still a profit. So, yeah, I know this video is a little different for you guys. I did tell you in the past I was planning on doing some gardening stuff this year. I do know in about 6 to 8 weeks, I want to pick up about 6 or 8. I'm thinking probably 8, in the 2 radishes, the 5-gallon buckets, because I think I'm going to actually plant some of the radishes in the greenhouse as well. But yep, that's how things are going. So I will catch you guys later. Bye for now.